Even the greatest players have their off days, and today we're diving into some rare instances where Magnus Carlsen, the world's top-ranked chess player, faced unexpected challenges from formidable opponents. These are moments that remind us that in chess, anything can happen. Welcome to ChessFlix, where we bring you the most thrilling and unexpected moments from the world of chess. And before we get into this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below saying you're subscribed, and I'll try my best to reply to as many comments as possible. Game 1. Magnus vs. Alexander Morozevich. In a matter of mere seconds, we delve into a gripping match where Magnus Carlsen faced none other than Alexander Morozevich, who once held the prestigious world number 2 ranking. As the clock started its relentless countdown, Magnus made his opening move, pawn to c4, setting the stage for a captivating battle. Alexander countered with pawn to e6, and in the blink of an eye, the game transformed into an English opening. The board showcased white's pawns on c4 and g3, facing off against black's pawns on d5 and f6. Morozevich wasted no time in capturing Magnus's pawn on c4, prompting Magnus to deftly maneuver his bishop to g2 before securing his king's safety with a swift castle. In this position, Magnus had already castled, while Morozevich lagged behind in developing his pieces. Yet Morozevich possessed an extra pawn, setting the stage for an intriguing conflict. Intriguingly, Morozevich seemed to have gained a slight advantage in this precarious equilibrium. Magnus, ever the perfectionist, wasn't entirely satisfied with the situation, and the dynamics of the game were about to take an electrifying turn. For the next few moves, Magnus orchestrated a daring assault on Morozevich's king. He initiated a thrilling exchange, sacrificing his rook for a king, followed by a cascade of pawn trades. The sequence unveiled a triple threat on Alexander's pawn on f7, compelling him to mount a steadfast defense. In a crucial moment, Alexander deployed his queen to protect his vulnerable position. Magnus, with his eye on infiltration, aimed to bring his queen into the fray. However, the clock was ticking, and time was slipping away. Morozevich, with his well-honed defensive skills, thwarted Magnus's queen's entry. It was becoming clear that Morozevich needed to navigate this treacherous territory with precision to secure victory. In a pivotal twist, Morozevich initiated yet another exchange, pinning Magnus's bishop to his king with bishop to d5. The board was a battlefield and the tension was palpable. Following a protracted sequence of piece maneuvers, Morozevich made a final, desperate bid for victory. He concealed his king in a corner while menacingly threatening checkmate, with eyes fixed on the vulnerable pawn on h4. It was at this moment that Magnus, realizing the inevitable, had no choice but to concede the match. Game 2. Magnus vs. Boris Shevchenko. In a highly anticipated chess match, Magnus Carlsen faced Boris Shevchenko. Magnus opened with e4, Boris responded with c5, leading to the Sicilian defense. The game evolved into a complex Sicilian defense with both sides castling. Magnus, aiming for an attack, placed his bishop on e3. Boris responded with q5, connecting his rooks. The game seemed balanced until Magnus blundered, moving his knight to d5, leaving his a2 pawn vulnerable. Boris seized the opportunity, capturing the pawn with his queen. Magnus then cleverly orchestrated a knight move to c3, winning Boris's knight. Magnus controlled the game, with Boris making mistakes. They reached an equal position, but Magnus offered a queen trade, forcing Boris to accept. Magnus's strategic bishop placement on b6 gave him an advantage. Boris's clock dwindled as Magnus tightened his grip. Boris's move, f5, inadvertently aided Magnus's victory. Magnus methodically advanced, dismantling Boris's position. Despite a tense moment when Boris threatened a pawn promotion, Magnus mitigated the threat. Exchanged pieces, and Magnus ended up with a rook and 2 pawns, while Boris had a bishop and 4 pawns, including a passed pawn. The game seemed destined for a draw, but Magnus made a critical error, moving his king to d4. Boris exploited this, capturing a rook. In a twist, Magnus tried to adjust his king, making an illegal move, leading to his defeat. The game ended dramatically. Game 3. Magnus versus a bar challenger. Game 3 transports us to an astonishing chess encounter. Magnus Carlsen, playing with white pieces, embarked on an unconventional journey. His opponent wasn't a seasoned chess pro. Rather, it was a brave individual who challenged Magnus to a chess duel in a Norwegian bar. The match began with an electrifying e4 from Magnus, met by e5 from the challenger, diving into the classic Roy Lopez opening. With both knights taking center stage and c3 appearing, the stage was set. Magnus's opponent, whom we'll call Mr. X, injected uncertainty into the game. While Magnus exuded confidence, Mr. X contemplated each move carefully, a psychological element that would soon affect the match. In this phase, Magnus gained a slight advantage due to well-placed central pawns, and his pieces held greater activity, shifting momentum in his favor. Magnus sensed an opportunity, setting up a strong attack by placing his bishop on c2, targeting Mr. X's vulnerable knight. Pressure on Mr. X mounted. Magnus's strategic brilliance shone as he crafted a potent king's side attack, advancing pawns systematically. Mr. X's bishop teetered on the brink of capture. But when victory seemed close, Magnus blundered. He moved his knight to d5, unintentionally offering Mr. X a chance to capture a pawn on a2 with his queen. Despite the setback, Magnus pressed on, hinting at an underlying strategy. Subsequent moves saw Mr. X advance a pawn, indicating a concealed plan. Then, Mr. X made a crucial mistake with knight to f6, allowing Magnus to execute a brilliant knight move to c3, with the chance to win Mr. X's knight. The drama reached a peak with Magnus in control. Exchanges followed, with Mr. X inadvertently aiding Magnus's path to victory. Magnus's pawn advanced to h3, Mr. X's king closed in, and Magnus stacked rooks to secure his position. Threats, however, still loomed. Unexpectedly, Mr. X placed his rook on b3, initially appearing as a blunder, offering Magnus a free rook. But it concealed a cunning trap. Mr. X set the stage for a pawn promotion to a queen, a menacing threat. Magnus countered by moving his rook to d1, stopping the threat but losing a pawn. Tension rose as the clock ticked down. Magnus proposed a queen trade, forcing Mr. X's hand. The exchange ended with Magnus positioning his bishop on b6, confident of impending victory. But a twist occurred. Mr. X's bishop checked Magnus's king with a move to e1, turning point. Magnus hesitated, then moved his king to d4, a seemingly harmless move that led to disaster. Mr. X moved swiftly, delivering a check with his bishop, ultimately leading to victory due to Magnus's illegal move. In a shocking turn, Magnus made the illegal move, attempting to adjust his king's position after lifting his hand. Mr. X pointed out the error. With resignation, Magnus conceded the game, acknowledging his move's illegality. The clock stopped, sealing a dramatic match's fate. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe to ChessFlix for more thrilling chess moments. Missed any of our previous captivating chess content? Well, don't let them slip away. Click on the video right here on your screen to revisit the brilliant moves and fascinating games that have left their mark on the chess world. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.